Double dose.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Double Dose. Hello, Annie.
Hello.
How was your cruise?
Oh my God, it was so good. There's a few things I learnt, I feel, on this cruise. Those things include getting 2 rooms.
Okay.
Because sharing a very small room without a balcony on a cruise ship with your mother for 7 days is a bit too much.
Okay.
We didn't have a fight, I would say. We had a fight.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was like the 5th day or something. And I'm an introvert naturally. So I very much appreciate my alone time. And I hadn't been alone for like a week at this point. I was like always either with her or with someone from the cruise. Like I just wanted like 5 minutes apiece, and we're about to go for dinner. And we came too early for our reservation. And I said to Mum, do you mind if I just sit in this lounge? I just need 5 minutes alone. And she just kind of lost it. I think she took it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Like the next morning we were like, nah, like she was like, I was tired. And I was like, I was tired too. I just wanted, space. So that's something that I've learned. But the cruise itself was great. The staff on Royal Caribbean were amazing.
That's so good.
Service was really good. My favorite place was Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Tulum, which was definitely my favorite place. And also Mahahual, which is in Mexico. That was cool. And where else did we go? Belize. My mum got pickpocketed there.
Really?
Yeah. So the way I think like Carnival and like Royal Caribbean set it up is like the port is like super protected. Like you can only go in there if you're getting on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
So it's like they've got lots of tourists, like stores and souvenir shops and stuff like that. And that's really fun. And sometimes they have like pools and bars and restaurants and whatever, and you're safe in there.
Yeah.
Mum and I were like, we want to go see like real Belize. We'll walk out of the port. We literally walked out of the port, and within like 2 seconds we had people like yelling things at us and like I don't know, trying to get things from us. And then within like 10 seconds we had these 2 kids that looked about 11 start following us, and they were wearing like school uniforms. They looked like, private school uniforms. So we thought, oh, they must be like well off. And then they started asking us for money, and we're like, that's sort of weird. Like it looks like they're well dressed and whatever. Anyway, I had got a bad feeling. So I moved my backpack to the front and held it. And my mum is very not street smart. And so she was just walking with her bag next to her like over the shoulder bag.
Yeah.
And the girl came over and was talking to her over here. And we think what must have happened is the boy came around, because she was walking behind me, so I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Came around next to her and opened her bag and took out the $100 note that was in there. But we didn't notice. And we immediately turned around because we just got bad vibes. So at that point, we're like, let's just go back, whatever. Went to a pharmacy to buy something, and she went to get out the $100 note, and her bag was open and the note was gone.
No.
And I was just like, they were so sneaky.
Yeah.
Because Mum didn't even feel anything.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, we just sort of learnt that, it's best to sort of stay within the port. Because you go to random places. You're not going to like the main city of Belize. It's some random port.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good. Really enjoyed it. We'll do it again. Yeah.
Love that. I want to do it.
Yeah. What's been
It's so
happening with
good.
you?
Not too much. I actually started a new gym completely randomly. One of the owners posted, and she was like looking for some people in Newcastle, like kind of in the fitness space, who would be willing to help me out with something. And I was like, I can't train much after surgery, but if it's beforehand, I can. She's like, oh, do you want to just come to my gym for free forever?
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
Oh my God,
sure.
sign me up.
So yeah, I got a free membership to go to this new gym, and it's all women's.
I love that.
Which is really nice, and it's all classes. It's it's similar to the one that you go to.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. And the owner is a like bikini bodybuilder pro as well. So she's like very onto it. She's really
love
good.
that. Yeah.
I love doing the session with her.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That sounds
fun.
good. I wish there were more all women's gyms because like I joined a gym like close by just for the days where I don't feel like driving to my usual gym for classes or whatever. And I went there on Sunday morning and I walked in, and I always get anxiety walking into a gym, and it's because I'm scared there's going to be lots of men staring at me.
Yeah.
And so I get that anxiety, and I literally walked through the door and I looked around and there was like 6 women in there, and that was it. And I just immediately just took a deep breath, and I was like, I can just have my session in peace. And it's so crazy that we have to feel that way, but it's
just the way the world is,
exactly,
unfortunately.
So I love that. Hello,
Annie's search for love.
So good. Welcome back to Annie's Search for Love.
Yay.
So just to refresh you, usually on this segment, we would call some people who have messaged me their number to have a blind phone date, essentially. Yeah. However, this time we're doing something a little bit different because I wanted to talk about a date that I went on recently. And
exciting.
Yeah. So this was my first date in 6 months. And it was with a very well-known Australian actor, and we went for – it was meant to be like an acai date, but then I was like, I'm not going to do an acai date because it gets all over your teeth.
The nice purple stain.
Yeah. So we ended up getting like smoothies. I think it was like a banana smoothie or something, and just walking along the beach, which honestly was a great like first date.
Yeah.
But there were a few things, and I wanted to talk about it in this segment because they're more tips for people not to do with me. The first thing was major name dropping. Name dropping this person, name dropping that person. You know, I stayed at this person's house. I don't want to say the people because I don't want to give it away, or I don't know if it would, but very famous people that like everyone in Australia would know of.
Yeah.
And like would say things like, oh yeah, he lets me keep my really expensive wines at his $1 million mansion, and like just stuff like, and then we walked past this house and he goes, oh, that's blah blah's house. He let me stay there for like a year or whatever. And I was like, okay, are you lying at this point? Like that's super random that we'd walk past that guy's house when you were just talking about him 5 minutes ago.
And
like,
also, why is he needing a place to stay for so long?
I had a lot of questions.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff in other places.
Where's your house?
It was strange. And then there was like, when he went to say goodbye to me, he lingered way too long on the hug. You know when you just meet someone, and it's the middle of the day, so you just go in for like a light, like distanced hug, you know? He grabbed me close to him, rubbed my back up and down, and held me for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, I hate physical touch when I don't know someone. So I'm standing there like, when's it gonna end? And it was just, I don't know. No. And there was a few other things like and again, I feel like, well, not again, but I feel like this comes from me being a sex worker and guys feeling way too comfortable asking me about sex. But I was talking about my endometriosis because I'd kind of mentioned that to him when we had been messaging, because I said I wasn't feeling well and he was like, you okay? And I told him about my endo. And so we're talking about that. And then he goes, oh, I have a question for you. Does it hurt when you have sex? And I was like,
right.
This is I felt
soon.
It was, I've just met you and you're asking me about my sex, like my sex life or what, like it just.
Also, if you were more of a gentleman, it would be nice to actually look up endo. And if you happen to get Annie in the bedroom and maybe you're about to have sex with her, be like, okay, just let me know if it hurts.
Yeah.
Not on the beach
I
on
know,
a random
exactly.
Sunday.
Yeah, exactly right. And I immediately was like, oh, he's asking that because he wants to fuck me. And I just, that ruined it up. Like, I mean, there's already a few things before that, but like that really ended it for me. Cause I was like, I just hate that. I get the guys have needs. And yes, like eventually when I'm dating someone, we're going to have sex. But like, I don't want to think about that on the first date with someone that I've just met. Do you know what I mean? That's not. Yeah. So I'm trying to think.
He was just assuming that it was going to be a problem for him to worry about.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because like, what other reason would he have to ask that?
Yeah.
No,
when you can just Google it, you know?
Yeah. Or ask a better question.
Ask a better question. There's
As
so
in,
many.
like, what are the side effects of that?
Yeah.
Rather than specifically being about.
Can you have sex?
Or it's like, are you feeling better than the other day when we were talking about that?
Yeah. And then, I don't know. Anyway. And no, Yeah.
How did you feel when he was like name dropping? Like, what did you react?
This is what I do when I don't want to be mean to someone, but I don't agree with what they're saying or I'm annoyed with what they're saying. I just nod and I stay silent. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Like I don't act interested or ask questions because I don't want to entertain them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's what you want. You want a reaction. You want me to be like, wow, that's so cool. Let's go back to mine and have sex. Like,
Not gonna happen.
no way.
So are you going to see him again?
I don't think so. Weirdly, when I left the date, I thought maybe because my best friend and I have been talking about how we're maybe too tough on guys and that we make the decision based off like the first or second date, but sometimes it takes time to get feelings for someone and blah, blah, blah. So we literally had that conversation earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, maybe I should give it another chance. But the more I've sat here and stewed on it and thought about all those things, I'm just like, those aren't really the qualities of someone that I would want to date.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, you can't get past that. That's not something you can just be like, oh, well, we'll just see what happens. So I don't think so. No.
I think as well, from someone going on a first date, like he's putting what he thinks is his best self forward. So that's the qualities he wants to show you.
Yeah. Yes. And I don't know. And I just want to say he was a really nice guy. He obviously there's a few of these things and I am very picky when it comes to guys. Overall, he was a great guy and some girl is going to be very lucky to have him. But yeah, I think also it could have been a case of him. Maybe he was nervous. Maybe he was, because he was very excited to go on the date.
Yeah.
Almost starstruck by me, which I thought was crazy because I was like, do you know who you are?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he might have been nervous and thought like, you know, given my work and what I do, that maybe he was trying to impress me in some sort of weird way.
maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know. But yeah, I don't think I'll be seeing him again.
Who paid for the smoothie?
He did. Yeah. Like I said, good guy.
That's good stuff.
Paid for my $14 smoothie.
$14.
Oh.
Wasn't cheap.
That's Gold Coast.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we have a very special guest joining us today. She is a relatively new OnlyFans creator with an impressive 245,000 followers on Instagram. Welcome, Mia Bailey.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you.
So how long have you been doing OnlyFans?
So about 2 weeks ago, it's been 12 months already.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say you started 2 weeks
yeah.
ago.
No. No, so it's gone so quick.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What made you decide to join?
I guess there's like a few factors. A big thing is like the flexibility. I hate like being controlled by someone. That's one thing that I really want to work towards, is obviously always maintaining like being my own boss. I found it really difficult to, you know, try and take leave or just like little things that you want to do, go away on a holiday and it gets rejected. And I was just like, I actually can't live like this. And a big thing as well was like financial instability. Like I openly like really struggle with that. And, you know, I take my hat off to people who are doing it, like working that 9 to 5 and only being able to put through like $100 a week, like save. And I just couldn't do it anymore. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm just going to like take the risk and do it. And, you know, it worked out.
Yeah. I feel like I 100% agree. It's all about like freedom in general and financial freedom.
Oh yeah.
It's
like
like
it takes a toll on your mental health when you don't have that finance behind you. It's so difficult.
I was thinking the other day, like I remember when like spending $50 was a huge deal and I used to sit there and think, do I need this? Do I need this? Do I need this? And it's kind of scary now how much I don't think about it.
I'll leave the house and $50 is just gone.
Yeah.
Yesterday I bought a juice for $20.
Yeah. See, you just do crazy shit like that.
You literally like go to the shops and you spend like $70 on like just dinner for that
100%.
night. Like I would never, this is like my whole week's worth of groceries.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
When, I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before, but when I first started OF, my partner is like a super saver and he pushed me to start. And I had like $2,000 owing on Afterpay. I was living week to week.
Yeah.
Had $8 in my account.
I had 200.
And the first paycheck went all to Afterpay. And the day that I paid everything off from OnlyFans and like had no debt, I was was like happy tears. I just broke down. I was like, oh my God,
Aw.
I have no debt for the first time in my adult life.
It's so like crazy. I had Afterpay, I had Zip Pay.
Mhm.
Like I had a broken windscreen on my car for a year because I couldn't put away like that extra, $400 to fix it. Like I couldn't even afford to go back home. Because I moved states to come up here. Couldn't even afford to go back and see my family. Like my dad was having to send me money to help me out to fly back because it's just it's impossible.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was even thinking, things like when things would go wrong with my car and I would have to pay $2,000 to get it fixed, and I literally couldn't. Like I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
It's just like, like OnlyFans has just like changed everything.
I'm pretty sure I put car repairs once on Zip Pay.
Oh,
on the
really?
Zip
Yeah.
Pay card.
Yeah, so did I.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's smart. I mean, I wish they had that back when I needed it.
So bad.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So how did your parents first respond when you started your OnlyFans?
Well, mum knew sort of from the beginning.
Okay.
It was something that I had mentioned to her prior to doing. I sort of warned her and I was like, how would you feel about this? Like just dabbled on like the idea. And at the beginning, like, I had the idea that, I could make money just by using lingerie photos and stuff like that, which is not the case.
I feel like everyone thinks that.
Yeah, unless you're a celebrity who's going into it where like it's a huge deal. It's just not going to happen. And that's sort of what we spoke about, and it was fine. And then I did it without telling her, and I was about 5 weeks in, and my mum's a single mum and we struggled growing up. Like we couldn't go to friends' birthdays because we couldn't afford a gift or like little things that everyone else was doing. Mum worked so hard, and it's very hard to, give out that extra money when it needs to go in other places, like food for us or clothes. So mum, I couldn't afford to buy her a birthday present or Mother's Day gift at the time. And I still hadn't started, and then I had. And, she sends me this bag, and it was like a $300 Michael Kors bag that was on sale. She was like, oh my God, like how nice is this bag? And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like I've just started, like I'm doing pretty well. Like, let's buy her this bag. And I sent it down to her, and, she was crying. Like she was so happy. And she goes, Mia, be honest with your mum. Like, are you doing OnlyFans? And I was like, yep.
How did she know? Did she just know because you bought
Because
her
she
the
knew
bag?
that there's no way that I could afford it. Like
Okay.
there was no way. And she's been really supportive about it. And it's like, it's so interesting because, I don't say the extent to what I do.
Yeah.
You don't want to go into details like that with your
They
parents.
don't want to know anyway.
Yeah, and my dad's been really good about it too, and that was something that I held off a long time from telling him because I was always like a daddy's girl. And
Yeah.
but I think the weirdest thing was like my mum a few months ago was like, she never knew she never knew the actual like page name, because I'd blocked her anyway. But she said, oh, I've seen your videos and, why are you bouncing your boobs and stuff like that? And I was like, oh, how'd you see it? She's like, oh, my male friend sent it to me. And I was like, okay, like this is so weird. I was like, first of all, if they're sending you and showing you my videos, this is their explore page. Like they watch these type of videos. And they said to her, like, your daughter is so smart, like for doing this industry. Like, and then my mum was like, okay, like that's all right then.
That's good that she had someone like that say that to her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, like my mum's had people say things to her being like, oh, your daughter's doing this, like in like a negative way.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Well, I think my mum's really like stuck in, she's very like old fashioned. She still asks me to this day, like, when are you going back to a 9 to 5 or when are you going back to your degree? Like, I'm like, Mum, this is the last thing I want to do. Like, I don't want to go back. Yeah.
My mum's a little bit like that. I think she's finally accepted now because she'll just ring me and be like, what are you doing today? I'm like, nothing. Don't want to come over. She's like, oh, yeah. But like in her brain, I can just tell she's still thinking, shouldn't you be at work? Or doing something?
That was my family when they stayed up.
Yeah.
I was like, I can be with you the whole time. Like, I'm going to have to jump on my phone a few times, but I don't have to leave, you guys at home and then be out for 8 or 9 hours. Like I can be around, work from my phone. Like,
It's
like this is so weird.
Yeah.
Have you had anything negative come from doing OnlyFans?
Yeah, I guess I've sort of spoken about it recently, and I had like an article, my first ever like article come out and talking to SBS about it was, you know, when you start, and especially being like a digital creator, you don't really think like anything's going to really happen because I'm not an in-person sex worker and I never have been. But I had like 3 instances that have really happened recently because, you know, once you're growing, people know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was at my partner's birthday and I had 4 older men come up to me and try and take me to make a video, and they were taking me to an Uber, and security stepped in, like family friends stepped in, like it was a big ordeal.
Oh my God.
And they were like, "This is Mia Bailey, like, do you know who this is? She's coming with us to make a video." Like,
wait, so they were all together, the men?
there was 4, they were like in their 50s, like 4 older men taking me, like holding me, taking me to an Uber.
Stop.
And I was like,
That's
now
insane.
I'm petrified to go
Yeah.
out to have a drink. Like my partner's like scared to leave me, like
Yeah.
in the city by myself. And you know, because I do have I guess custom number plates and, you know, a recognizable car as well, from the motorway up here in Queensland, I was followed by 2 utes on the way to a hair appointment for 25 minutes, and they had like blocked me in. So just imagine like my car's behind them, one's like right next to me and the other one's in front, and they're like honking, like pulling down their window like, "Mia, Mia."
Shut up.
And they pulled the whole freeway to like 25 k's an hour. I was 20 minutes late to my appointment, and for 25 minutes was just all the cars honking behind, like just going nuts.
Oh my God, that's really scary.
It was
Did
crazy.
you call the police or anything?
No, I was on the phone to my partner, like crying. I had
would've
my sunnies on, like having a huge like
Aw.
panic attack, being like, "Oh my God."
That's horrible.
Now I'm like regretting my plates, regretting my car. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's things that like you change how you go about life. now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely like realized how careful you have to be. Like, I am really careful about ever saying where I live or what suburb I live, or
Yeah.
like showing any part of my house that could be recognizable, or
Yeah.
like my car or anything like that, because I'm just so scared of that, and that just sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Now that I've been like looking at rentals to potentially move, but every single place I look at, I'm like, both mine and my partner's cars need to go away, because he has like a sports car that people like to look
Can
at, and then mine
recognise.
has my name on it. Like
Yeah.
people are gonna follow and know. And then, like I was saying just before, someone on a live stream knew where I lived.
Yeah,
That's
last week.
crazy.
really scary.
Well, that was like similarly, I had a blackmail situation. Like it was around Valentine's Day, and I have like my own personal account for like friends and family, and someone had found that account, like, and messaged it and made an Instagram and basically like screenshot really important people to me, my partner's family that I had never even met, people that, you know, you'd have no idea how they knew these people. And basically the bio was DM me or you're fucked. And they started uploading all these people and then messaging me, made a close friends. Like I didn't open any message, but I could see the messages like coming through.
Yeah.
And it was like story after story. Instagram did not take it down. I had everyone reporting it. And then I'm sitting at Valentine's Day dinner. It's like day 2 of like this person like constantly harassing me.
Yeah.
And I'm like to my partner, okay, can I just check my phone? Like there's been no activity for like a few hours. I want to see if the account's gone. And I go on there and there's a screenshot of my tape, like a sexually explicit video. And it's like, DM me right now or I'm going to send this to your baby brother. You have 1 hour. And it was
What were they trying to get from you? Money?
just a reaction.
Oh my God.
Not even like being like, hey, like send me this amount of money. It was literally just a reaction. I didn't give it to them. And after like 3-4 days, the account like finally got taken down. It took that long.
Wow, that's awful.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard anything like that before. That's
Oh.
crazy.
Oh, it just makes me feel sick.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
who goes to that effort? What's
Even
their
the-
end game? What do
the-
they want from you?
The freeway situation, I'm like, who would like hold up a whole freeway to cause that much
Yeah.
distress when obviously they surely know that that's so distressing and scary?
The
So what do
like
they want you to do?
beeping, they were like literal wild animals like bouncing out of the car, like smacking on the side of the car, like honking, like, and just locking me in. And I couldn't, you know, it was when you go down that freeway, it's 2 lanes.
It's 2 lanes. You can't go anywhere.
I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't even get off. And where I had to get off, you know, they followed me off.
That's crazy. What happened when you like arrived at your appointment?
So where I had to turn off, it was like, you know, you got to do a big loop. So they went through the lights when it was green and I just stayed back.
Yeah, nice.
And then you can't, it's like impossible to turn around because there's all these other roads.
Yeah, smart.
And I was just like crying at my point. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so late.
Aww,
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Oh, I don't even know what to say about that.
That's really awful.
Yeah.
If someone's ever weird to me in the car, I just put on like the biggest resting bitch face. I'm like, do not test me.
I never
like,
look.
I'm not going to give you any.
Yeah, now I just like,
I look straight ahead.
I have to
never
tint my windows even darker now. Like,
Yeah.
But I've actually had a really good experience with the plates too.
Yeah.
Right, I think I've told you. It was this plumber and he put his window
Oh,
down
yeah.
and he said hi and he's like, I just want to say I'm a big fan. Like, I love your car. And he's like, this is my son in the back. And he had this little baby in the back. And I was like, it's just so weird,
So
but okay.
weird. Yeah.
So cute.
Aww.
Oh, I can't believe that happened to you.
I know. I'm sorry that happened to you.
yeah.
So how do you handle the hate that you receive on your social media?
Good and bad, like especially from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's other people, like you guys have been in it a lot longer than me, and at the start it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because you know, you're having things said and you're being, you know, you have people saying negative things about things that I've never even had, you know, negative thoughts about. You know, it might be, you know, my ears or like just
random things.
Yeah, random things. And I'm like, oh my God, is this actually a problem? And, you know, you learn to sort of block that out. But I feel like I've had a pretty good response. But also like comment filters are your best friends. I don't really read my comments. I learned that a long time ago. But I also like to go through them and interact with people.
Yeah.
But then I literally sat there one day and wrote every single like bad word I can think of and put it in the comment filters. And I'm like, if they're going to say it, they can say it, but I'm not going to see it. So that's fine. Which is nice. But I think it's like you have those occasional videos that go to the wrong audience and you get hounded with like horrible things. And I remember like one TikTok video literally went to like a young crowd. And it was horrible. I was like, how did this happen? And it was like, you know, Europe side.
Yeah.
And I was just like.
Yeah, it happens. You just land on the wrong side of like TikTok.
Yeah, and it was like the worst week. I was just like in the worst headspace.
Yeah.
Because I just read all of them.
I think that's the thing. Like it is really hard to not read them when you want to interact with your followers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go, oh, I'll just like respond to some comments and then you start reading them and that's when you get like, you fall down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I feel like I've just decided now that not to read them at all. I don't read them, even if it means not interacting with my followers because I just like can't deal with it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Have you always been a very sexual person or is it something that you're just discovering?
Yeah. Yeah. I would like, and like I'm very open in saying this. Some people in the beginning like sort of thought I was very innocent and stuff like that, but I would consider myself like a nympho. I love sex and I love exploring and you know, I've had friends who have always said like, you're like the horniest person I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 100% okay with that.
It's like OnlyFans was made for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that, you know, before this, I went through like a 2-month stage where I was like, maybe I need to be like a sex therapist. Like I need to be in this industry, like some form or another. But it's like the difference though is there's so many things that I've learned now being in this industry, you know, the fetishes and the different niches and stuff that I've brought into my own like personal sex life. And that's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fun actually.
Yeah. You get to explore together.
Yeah.
That's good.
When you first decided to do OnlyFans, how did your partner react?
He's like a blessing. Like we were together prior to me starting anyway, which was definitely helpful because for us when, you know, I was approached to have some help and stuff who from Blue Rose who I work with, you know, I said to him, I said, I know this is like it's either going to be life-changing or it's either just going to absolutely flop. But I'm putting the decision in your hands because he's the best person in the world. And if it meant that I lose respect from him or I make him uncomfortable in any sort of way or make him feel insecure, which he's the furthest from that. But you never know how someone's going to react because ultimately, like, he's sharing me with the world.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, you know what? Take as long as you need, think about it, and then come back to me. And if it's a no, it's a no. I'll work it out. I've worked it out all this time by myself. Like, there's something else out there for me. I know there is. But if it's yes, like, let's just do it. And we did it. And he's so supportive. He now works with me part-time, 2 days a week as my assistant, which is amazing because it's extra time we spend together. And our life is so different from this. Like, the amount of things we've done in just the past 12 months is more than I've done like my whole entire life. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. So he's so good.
Did you lose any friends or family when you first started?
No, thankfully not. I think I cut out a lot of people because once people see you succeeding, you know, I had people be like, I'm posting TikToks every day or I'm doing this, this and this. How is Mia succeeding so quickly? Like, it was luck for me. Like, you don't just ask
and
to
those
succeed.
Big boobies.
Yeah. yeah. You know, so, and then there's that expectation, you know, you go out with your friends for dinner and I'm really lucky I have amazing friends, but I had external people then that there was an expectation that I was paying for their drinks, that I was paying for the dinner. They have expectations on birthday presents. And it's like, man, you know, this life is incredible, but you know, I'm not gonna sit there and do this. Like, my friends would never do anything like that now. So you sort of learn who you want to keep around and who's not good.
Yeah, I feel like OnlyFans really weeds out
Oh
the
yeah,
true friends.
Oh yeah.
So if you weren't doing OnlyFans, what do you think you'd be doing?
One of two things. I've always been someone with that like entrepreneurial mindset. You know, when I was growing up, I had my own events, businesses and stuff like that. Like, I really loved always having like a creative side of myself. And I know that I'd be able to do that. And with, you know, OF now, like, you know, you want to start your own business because, you know, you might have the funds to now and actually be able to have so many resources to look into it. But a huge thing was, you know, I was studying to become a lawyer. Like, I wanted to be a barrister. But now, like, seeing the flexibility of this life, I'm like, there is no way I could ever do that because it's not a 9 to 5. Like, it is extensive hours and extensive hours away from like your family and your friends. And so.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work and not much freedom.
Yeah, no.
Do you think that OnlyFans has affected your self-esteem and how you view your body?
Yeah, I would say it's not so much OnlyFans because, you know, the people on there, like, they love you. Like, I have a lot of like worshippers, like, I'm their goddess.
Yeah,
you know,
that.
which is really nice because you go on there and you're reading, like, you don't really get much hate on there. You know, these people want to talk to you, like, they want to interact with you and they love it. Like, they'll do anything to talk to you. Whereas it's that social media side that is really hard to deal with at times because, you know, from the beginning, you're in front of the camera every second day and for hours. Like, my TikTok sessions sometimes go for 6 hours, or my Instagram reels or YouTube, and my body's constantly changing and people are constantly commenting about it. And, you know, when I started, and even at the start of this year, I was, you know, 8.5 kilos heavier than what I am now. And I'm the happiest I've been now in myself and being able to perform in front of a camera and stuff. But I have comments and I see them like recently. It's like, why the fuck are you losing weight? Like, and then all like my fans in the comments are like, her body, her choice. Like, she can do what she wants. And I'm just like, oh my God, I actually can't win. Like,
No, you can't.
But you notice that when I was heavier, like, I made more money as a heavier girl.
Yeah.
Compared to compared to now. Well, it's just up and going, like up in
naturally
waves.
up,
Yeah. But they did love when I had a bit of meat on myself.
It kind of reminds me of like me before I got a boob job.
Yeah.
I was like completely flat. And when I came out and said I was getting a boob job, everyone was so angry at me because they loved the fact that I had like small boobs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think like your audience sort of changes a little bit. Like my audience from then has changed so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just up and down.
I'm just like, if I'm happy, like that's all that matters. And it took me like a few days to realize that after I started seeing those comments like, oh, you look so different to your OF videos. I'm like, oh my God, because I have lost weight. Like, is it okay for me not to have an extra roll now? Like, you know?
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
Do you have any history of like toxic friendships or relationships?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I never want to like talk badly about people and stuff, but you definitely go through your fair share. And I think, you know, I wouldn't talk about like my past relationship because I respect him in that sense, but it definitely wasn't the right person for me. You know, comparing him to my current partner, you know, I have the ability to sort of express myself now and be able to do things. You know, I dabbled on the idea of OnlyFans a long time ago and that was not okay. Like I wasn't even allowed to get a tattoo, you know, or my lips done and stuff. So yeah, I would just say like they're just not the right people for me to be around, and you learn that pretty quickly. And now I'm in like the best place I've ever been.
That's so
I'm with
good.
the best people.
Aww.
Yeah. Yeah.
What advice would you give to anyone who wants to start OnlyFans?
Really think about it. You know, that's something that I wish I got told at the start was it's not easy. Like I have watched people struggle for months and months and helping people who have. And it's hard to talk about because I did get really lucky and like in not a cocky or confident way. Like it just happened, you know, the first TikTok that I'd put out, the first few, they went viral overnight and had millions of views. And that's how I started.
Yeah.
And within the first 4 days of my account going live, I made more money than the 8 months of my 9 to 5.
Wow.
So I quit my job in 4 days and I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on this part-time. You know, I have a little bit of money behind me, which I've never had before. I'm going to, you know, work on this, put more effort into it, do more filming sessions and learn more about it. And then that's that. And I think people think it's so easy. Like it's so mentally draining. It's really physically draining. And there's days where I get ready to film and, you know, my partner's helping me out and then I just have a breakdown and like, I actually can't film today. Like I can't do this. It's just not going to work out. I'm not going to film because I'm not going to produce good content. And it's really draining. So you also have to think like this stuff's out there forever. You know, it's not going to go away. And, you know, that's something that I lived with and like that's something that, you know, we all live with and we're okay with that. And I'm happy with that. And I love what I do. So you've really got to think about it. Yeah.
What do you think the biggest misconception about sex workers is?
Probably a couple. Like the first is like talking about like sex work isn't real work.
Yeah.
Like, my God, it is. Like we contribute so much. Like it's just crazy when, you know, even just talking about my mom, like thinking that it's not really a real job and it can't bring in like that income that people think it can as well. But it's also that like objectification of us. Like I find that like a lot of people consider me as like an object or like a sex symbol. And we put ourselves out there, like no doubt. But the way that people respect me now is so different. Like they think that it's okay to talk to me a certain way. And there's times where, you know, my partner's had to step in and said, this is not okay. Like don't talk to her like that. You know, she's not an object. And that's probably like the hardest thing.
100%. I feel like people just forget that, or I don't know, they don't understand that there's a real person.
Yeah,
behind,
exactly.
You know, our internet versions of ourselves.
Because they're just seeing a video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or I mean, like other people have said that we've had on before that like we are just super sexual And, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, no, actually, like, we're not having sex all the time, you know?
That's what people think. They're like,
do
you're
other
literally
things
having
too.
sex all day, every day. And I'm like,
most
no.
of my life is admin. I literally sit at my desk for so many hours per day. That's most of my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, what is the craziest request you've ever received on OnlyFans?
I feel like it's hard to say if it's like the craziest or not, because you have those crazy ones where it's like using objects you can't even use on OnlyFans because you'll lose your whole account.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I've sort of been doing recently, I have a lot of people, because I'm 6 foot, like I'm tall. I have a lot of people who have like that giantess fetish.
Oh.
Yeah. And I did a video the other day, and it's just so different, and like people really get off to it. And I literally, you put your phone in like 0.5 and it's on the floor and you're like this giant and you have to like use them. So they're a little Lego man figure.
Yeah.
And you're using that like to describe them. And then I had like a little toy car, and I'm there. You can see the toy car in the bottom of the camera. I'm like, don't you dare escape from me. And I put my foot up and I squish the Lego car and it like breaks
Stop.
everywhere. And then, you know, you're picking them up and you're like, I had to put my phone into a container and, you know, close the lid, and you're like, you're stuck in there forever. I'm going to like take you around, and you put them in the fridge. And
Stop it. That's actually really fun.
I love that
it's so fun.
I've had some giantess photos, like a set of photos where I was like
Okay.
pretending to hold him like this.
Yeah.
But I would love to do a video like
That's
that.
It's
sounds
so
so
it's
fun.
so much, and people love it. Like
Wow.
now, you know, you bring in a lot of customs with that. And I had one recently that wanted to bring into the giantess fetish, but then also absolutely degrade his wife.
His wife.
Yeah.
Did she know about it?
Oh, I don't know. I hope he doesn't have a wife, but it was like, I need you to a point of view, and you're basically like humiliating my wife and saying that you're young and you're beautiful and you own me and she's disgusting and she's not worth me. And I'm there like, I'm praying that you don't have a wife. Like with this poor woman.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm this like big giant lord.
That's so good. That's a good niche. I haven't heard about that before.
Yeah, I've only had that one sub with a few photos.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we don't get it more because we're
I know.
also
Yeah,
tall.
you guys are
I was like,
tall.
How
Yeah.
how do they know? And how do they find you and know that you're 6 foot?
Yeah.
I think that when you look at me in a door frame, like in my videos, you can
look
see that
tall.
I'm a giant. And as well, like I have a lot of low angle like shots, and
Yeah.
I've got a really long body. So straight away, a lot of my comments are, oh my God, how tall are you?
Yeah,
And I'm
okay.
like 6 foot, like proud, like I love
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
I love it too.
Attract the right audience.
yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We loved having you.
Thanks for having me.
Did you want to tell the listeners your Instagram handle?
Yeah, sure. So it's at only Mia Bailey on Instagram.
Amazing. Thanks so
Yay.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, since you all send in your confessions, we thought it was about time that we said a few of our own. I hated coming up with these.
It was really hard because there's some things I don't want to confess, okay? But there were some things that I was like, this is just kind of weird. It's like a weird quirk of mine that I'm happy to confess.
Do you want to go first?
I'll start. Should we take turns?
We'll take turns. Yeah, you've
Okay.
got one more than me, but that's okay.
Okay. I wash my feet before I get into my bed. So
I think that's.
is it
I
normal?
don't think that's that weird.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Is
that
it
weird.
like I don't shower fully? I just wash the feet.
Even
think
if
it'd
you've
be-
just been at home.
Yes, all day because I don't. My number one, my feet get really cold, so it warms them up. But also, like walking around on the floor and stuff. You know, there's stuff on the floor, so
Yeah.
it feels wrong to get into my clean
Mm.
sheets with dirty feet.
How do you wash your feet?
Yeah, turn the shower on, and then I sort of
Just
like
wash your feet.
stand on. I move the shower head so it's not like spraying all over
Okay.
me, and then I just get the soap and I just.
Oh, you wash your feet?
Yes, I'm not just putting water on them. I'm not rinsing them. I'm like washing them.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I wash my feet in general. So
Like, you see, another thing that I do is in the shower. Like, a lot of people don't. I saw Steph and Laura's podcast actually, and they were talking about this: the
Yeah.
fact that they don't go over every inch of their body with
No.
soap. I do. I go over every inch of my body
Right.
with soap.
That's
It's
just
an
a lot
OC
of effort.
it all runs down.
I know
if you-
it's an OCD thing. I think
That's fair.
I'm
Yeah,
very
maybe.
OCD.
That's definitely not a bad confession.
No, it's not. No.
But I think I wear when I have a shower at night, I wear socks around the house, and then I don't sleep with the socks on. I take the socks off.
See, that's fine.
So my feet are still clean.
That's acceptable. I would be happy to do that.
Okay, my first one is one time I slept with the best friend of someone who was completely obsessed with me and in love with me.
Oh, really?
So I had slept with the guy
already,
before, and then he was
obsessed
just
guy, or?
yeah, he just got a bit like clingy and weird, and then I ended up sleeping with his best friend.
Did he find out?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Not when I was like friends with them.
Okay.
But I don't know if he knows now.
Yeah, I wonder. I like that.
He still follows me, so
does he?
I don't know.
Okay, this one. Oh, this is like unleashing my full crazy. I was 17, okay? I once suspected a boy I was seeing when I was 17 to be speaking to other girls, so I created a fake Instagram of a girl I found on Tumblr and followed him, and he instantly slid into the DMs.
Whoa.
That's okay.
You're okay.
That's
Get your thoughts out there, everyone.
he.
No,
I mean, you were right.
I was
Yeah.
right, but that's because I knew I was right, and I just had a feeling. But yeah, he slid into the DMs, and I was like, I spoke to him for like a day or two, and I was like, I knew it. And he was like trying to catch up with this girl that didn't exist. Yeah. So
wow.
It's just detective work. In
It's
my opinion.
detective work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you do well.
I did
think
do
it's
well. And then I
okay.
learned, and I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Did you tell him and show him
No.
after?
No.
Oh,
That
see, I
would've
think
been
you should have
funny.
done that.
Yeah,
No,
that
I just
would've been
stopped
so
talking to
funny.
him, but that would have been funny. I was too shy back then. I
Yeah,
didn't
okay.
have the balls.
Okay, this one's really bad. I think that I liked the personality and like the vibe of my ex's best friend more than my ex.
Really?
And we would hang out in a group all the time, and he has a partner.
Right.
I don't know if they're married or engaged or whatever now. And like I was really good friends with both of them, but the whole time I was like, I definitely like your best friend more than you.
Stop.
Yeah. My ex was just a dick.
That. Yeah. Well, you should be dating the wrong guy.
I know. But it was too late.
It's too late.
The other guy had a girlfriend
Oh,
anyway, so
okay.
it was never
Alright.
going to work. But at least I was like good friends with him.
Yeah. That's a
so
good one.
bad.
You didn't do anything.
Exactly.
I once started hooking up with a guy, and when he took off his pants and I saw how small his penis was, I stopped him right there and left. I was 19, I want to say.
Oh, well.
I didn't say your penis is small, I'm leaving. Obviously I wouldn't say that. He took his pants off, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel really shit. Like, I feel quite
I
sick.
just got to go.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happened. I can't do this. I have to go home. And then I left.
It's not that bad.
It was,
it's pretty
it's
mean.
now mean that I'm saying it out
Pretty
loud.
mean.
But he didn't, he probably did know, but like, I was nice about it. But I'm sorry, but I'm not going to waste energy sexing,
when you're not going to
having pity sex with someone.
Yeah.
Like no.
No, that's fine.
Thanks.
This one I think is going to be so unexpected for the listeners. I cannot stand the smell and taste of cum.
Really?
I hate it.
It's very metallic.
It's just gross.
Yeah. And it's warm.
Yeah, it's gross.
I remember the first time, this is so TMI, I'm sorry, Caleb. The first time I had cum in my mouth, I was so shocked that it was warm. Because I don't, why would I ever suspect it to not be warm? Because it's coming out of a warm human body. But I was expecting it to be like refrigerated, chilled.
Yeah.
And it was not.
I had not had cum in my mouth until my partner now.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them before, I'm just like, that it's not going anywhere
Yeah,
near me. So
okay.
obviously I love this one more than any
Yeah,
others, because I'm
good.
like, you're actually tolerable. The rest of them, it's not happening.
Do you think this is, I was going to say, do you think that different people's taste different, but you've only.
I think it definitely smells different, so that says a lot about the taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about your health. Like,
It's yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. I think they
Yeah.
do taste different.
So if I can actually stand my partners now and it's okay, like obviously we'll film things, I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. But
Yeah.
in the past, I'm like, that's not going anywhere near my
Yeah.
face.
Yep.
So I think that says a lot
yeah. Yeah.
about hygiene and health and diet.
100%.
So yeah,
I wonder if it's the same for us. I mean,
I think so.
you think so?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it would.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
I mean, given like what I do for work, I've experienced quite a bit, and I would say that like everyone's tastes different.
Yeah, I reckon it's like diet, health, where you are on your cycle. I reckon it would be so many things.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Okay, is this my last one? Yep.
Yeah.
I have been the other woman more times than I can count on two hands, but I never actually knew any of them had girlfriends, and they all lied to me about being single. It happened. There was a period from like age 19 to age 23, I want to say where that is all that happened.
That's
Every
so
guy I hooked up
insane.
with, even like I wouldn't find out that night necessarily, although one of them confessed to me. It was like, I actually have a girlfriend. And I was like, why would you tell me that? And then others I found out later through friends. I'd be like, oh, I hooked up with this guy. And they're like, doesn't he have a girlfriend? Or like I'd find out on social media or like
Far
whatever.
out.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and it's so shit because then it puts me in a position of being like, do I tell them? Like,
Yeah.
it's not really my place. I don't know. It was, not good.
Guys are shit.
They're so shit. No wonder I have lost all faith.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Double Dose.
Make sure you come and follow us on socials at doubledose.thepodcast.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Double dose.